So hey guys, welcome to tonight's live stream. I am absolutely honoured to have David on this live stream with us guys. Hopefully we don't have the same video issues we had with Chris, but I'm going to leave it to David to introduce himself, and then we'll get into you guys Q&A, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Over to you, mate.
Yeah, okay, so hey guys, my name's David Thomson. First thing I have to admit, I'm not a personal trainer. I can't profess to be a personal trainer. I can't do the magic that you guys do. That's not my bag at all. But what I am really good at is sales. I've helped lots of people transform their lives with sales and make lots and lots of money. So if you've got any sales queries, anything you want to know that works with sales, for the last 27 years, I've raised my life from being in a council house, being in a children's home, leaving school with no qualifications, and sales has been my key to transformation. Tomorrow I'm hoping to do a deal and pick up a few million quid. So sales has been the key for me, and that's the thing I hope to help you guys with tonight. Anything you want to ask me, I'd take the Pepsi challenge that I can probably help you and answer it exactly. If not, you can say, there was this dickhead called Dave who was fucking useless and he couldn't help me at all. I guarantee I'll be able to answer any questions with regards to sales, or you can say I'm a dick, I know nothing.
Happy mate, son, man. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So Dave Christian wanted to ask the question earlier. He said he's got two questions, mate, so I'll do it in two parts. How do you overcome the fear of asking for the sale, especially when you're dealing with the higher ticket price?
Yep.
So how would you do that?
Do you
want me to ask it again, mate?
No, so I get it. So how do you deal with the fear of when you're dealing with a client and you're dealing with higher ticket items? So, so the first thing you have to realize is this is not about you. Sales is not about you. It's about process. It's not about you thinking you are this superhuman being that's got to do it. It's about having a brilliant process. And whether it's you that's doing it or somebody else that's doing it, the process is the answer, not the person. So separate you from the process. And the way that I do that is I ask, is it possible that this person in front of me could be persuaded to go on this journey with me? Is it possible? If the best salesperson in the world was here, could they persuade this person to spend this amount of money? So that's the first question. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when you ask that question, guess what you start to come up with? Possibilities. Possibilities. You start thinking, well, if the best person in the world was here and they were talking to this person, would they be able to persuade them? And the answer is generally, yeah, they would. It's possible. You know, if your life depended on it, could you persuade this person to go on this journey with you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So you ask yourself from a possibility perspective, it's possible. Then you ask yourself this next question. Do I want to persuade this person to go on this journey with me? Do I want to get them? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So if it's possible and you want it, all you need to do is work out the how. So then it's just about process. So the possibility's there, you want it, it's just about process.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So your process is going to be the first thing that you have to ask those questions is you've got to have the right mental attitude. You've got to have a positive mental attitude. So if you haven't got a positive mental attitude, you're going to be looking backwards thinking, I can't, it's not me. Realize a person with a positive mental attitude will realize it's possible to get this person to do it. So then you need to work with somebody that's going to help you develop the skills to think and act. Now, if the best salesperson in the world was talking to this person, they would be able to ask better questions and they would be able to build a better client journey than what you can build. That's it. That's all they'd be able to do. They'd ask this person better questions and they'd be able to build a better client journey. So you need to ask yourself, okay, how can I build this client journey? And you're going to need some mentoring, some coaching to develop your skill so that you move up to the next level. So you start off from the possibility perspective thinking, is it possible this person could do it? Well, yeah, if the best salesperson in the world was here, they could do it. And you think, do you want it? Well, yeah, I want it. Okay, what questions do I need to ask this person in front of me? And then you start asking about, okay, who could help me? Now, obviously, I can help you. But it starts off with having the desire. That's the first stage towards any transformation.
Okay.
Okay. So here's something that's cool, right? There's a guy called Mike Pantalon, right? And he created this thing, 7 steps towards transformation in anything. And it's about asking people questions. Now, Mike Pantalon worked with heroin addicts. And what he said was he could ask half a dozen questions, and in 7 minutes, you could change anybody's life. So 6 questions, 7 minutes, and he could change anybody's life, right? So let's say you want to persuade somebody that coming to the gym is a really good idea. It's a really good thing to do, and getting fit is a really good idea. So are you with me on this, Wayne? You're happy with me for me to go down this road?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, okay. So the first question you say is, okay, you've come down to my gym, or you've started talking to me as a personal trainer. So the first question I'll ask you is, why might you change your habit? Why might you change the way that you think? Why might you change your behavior in terms of now come and start working out? Why might you want to change? And it's important you use exactly those words. Why? Because ultimately the person themselves in front of you, they're going to come up with their own reason. Might, meaning it's a choice. You, meaning you're the one that's in charge. And change, meaning it's a process. So why might you change your habits? So let's just do a role play with that. You come down to my gym and you're saying, I'm thinking about coming to work out. I say to you, why might you change in terms of you haven't been to the gym for the last 5 years? Why might you change that habit and start coming to the gym 4 times a week? Why might you change? What are you going to say?
Well, it'd probably be something along the lines of, because I'm not happy with the way I've looked for a long time, been happy with my own fitness, or, you know, blame it on something like, I don't know, what do we generally get? We generally get things like, I just want to be fitter and healthier, really.
Yeah, completely. You want to be fit and healthy. Okay, so that's the first question. And ultimately, people will come up with their own reasons. And then so the next question is, and this is how you can get somebody to persuade themselves. Ultimately, you can't persuade somebody. Somebody can only persuade themselves. So the next question you're going to ask them is, you're going to say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to change? 10 being I'm completely ready, 1 being I'm not ready at all, right? Now, even if people know what you're doing here, even if they can see you coming, they know what you're doing, this still works. Doesn't matter. So you can say to them, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to change in terms of coming to the gym, working out 4 times a week, eating the right nutrition to transform your body, doing all those things? How ready are you to do that?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Give me a number between. And let's say somebody says a shitty number like 3. Yeah.
Which is what they would normally do. It's what they normally do, isn't it? Nobody goes for a 10.
Okay, they might say 10, but they might say a 3 or a 4. Well, we're not bothered about the number. Let's say somebody says a really low number, like 3 or a 4. What we're going to do is we're going to go against the negative and say, well, why didn't you pick a low? Why is that only a 3? We're going to go on the positive. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go on the positive thing. We're going to step through and we're going to say, okay, you've said 3 out of 10. Fantastic, Wayne. That's great. Why didn't you choose a lower number? Why didn't you choose a lower number? And what are you going to say? You say,
I don't know. That's a real good one.
So you're going to start coming up. You say, well, I know it's the right thing for me to do, and I do need to start working out, and I'd love to start eating properly, and coming to the gyms are going to be good for you. So ultimately, what you're going to start doing is you're going to start edging towards me. You're going to start making progress towards me. Why don't you choose a lower number? Yeah. This is really important. I did this on a Body Transformation Academy event. And people said that clients that were only thinking about working with them started working with them immediately, and they started closing all of their cases. Their closing rate went up immediately. So you're asking them, why didn't they choose a lower number? So they can say, well, I didn't choose a lower number because, and they're going to start giving you the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next step after that is they're going to say, I didn't choose a lower number because of all these reasons. And you say, okay, so how ready are you to make that change? How ready are you to change? And so you're going to say, well, I'm really ready to make that change. And then I'm going to ask you, okay, imagine you've changed. What's different?
Yeah, good question. So do you wait for that reply?
You wait for it. You wait all the time. This is about being an interested introvert. What's different? And you can say, what's different is, well, I now feel healthier. I'm eating better. I'm getting compliments from my friends. They're telling you that what you're doing is you're asking them to look at their life as to what would be different.
Yeah.
So when they start doing that, what you're getting is you're getting the client to start undressing in front of you and start doing those things. And you can ask them the next step. You say, what's the next step, if any?
Good.
And they'll say, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we just get on with it? So ultimately, you're asking people to come up with their own ideas and you're asking really cool questions.
Yeah, so what you're trying to do there is you're trying to get them to speak positively, aren't you? You're looking for positive reinforcement kind of like answers, aren't you, to your questions?
Totally you are. You're looking for positive reinforcement. You're looking for people to come up with their own ideas. This is using positive psychology, and ultimately you're looking for engagement from the client. And even if they can see it coming, it still works. It's irrelevant. Even if they see it coming or they don't, it still works. So if you're not a salesperson,
yeah,
you know, which you can get people that aren't salespeople, you can still ask really good questions of clients and get engagement.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. So, all right, mate. So that kind of answers the question away. So David had like a second part to his question, was how do you put the framework in place to make sure your funnel only captures those that can afford your service? But I think you've kind of just covered that a little bit as well.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? You ask, is it possible? Is it possible this person could be persuaded? Forget money. You've made it up. It's an abstract concept. People will spend all sorts of money on stupid things, right? Even you. And if you don't think that's true, look in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
So we all have that. We come up with reasons to spend money on all sorts of stupid things. So you think, is it possible I can persuade this person? People will come up with money. They'll make money. Money's a made up concept. It's labor stamped on a piece of paper. So it's made up. So we will find money for all sorts of shit. So forget about getting people in and out of your funnel that are not good. What you got to look at is, don't wish they were easier. Wish you were better. You need to increase your skill.
Awesome. Right, I'm just gonna find another question because there was another one asked earlier today. If you guys on watching this call right now have any questions, please ask. So Josh, mate, asked, how do you approach the first 2 minutes of face-to-face sales meeting / consultation?
So with any sales meeting, you're going to have to open a customer. So I have an online sales course where I teach these people this thing. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to open. And when you open, one of the first things to do is you're going to have to make a big, fat claim. So if you go to a brand, you look at Audi as a brand, their big fat claim is we'll put more shopping in your basket for less money. That's Audi's big fat claim. If you look at Harrods, their big fat claim they have on the door, they're green and gold. They're saying quality is what we do. So what's your big fat claim? So you need to make a big fat claim. When somebody comes to you, make a big fat claim. And then you need to have some really good processes. One of the first processes is to ask clients brilliant questions. So I have this process called the 3Ds process that I learned from my friend, a guy called Matt Farrar, who created one of the best web businesses in the world. There was a company called Great Fridays and he sold it for millions. And what Matt had was a thing called a questioning funnel where you'd ask discovery questions, design questions, and delivery questions. So when you're going through with a customer and they first sit down with you, say, let's do a little discovery exercise. While you're doing the discovery exercise, what you want to find out is where the client is right now, where the client wants to be in the future. So you can ask them questions. You say, let's discover where you're right now, where do you want to be in the future? And then also, you then start asking design questions. What are the various ways to get there? And then ultimately there's a delivery process. What's the best way to get there right now? So this is to do with opening. So you're going to make a big fat claim. Then you're going to ask the client, I'm going to discover where you are right now. I'm going to discover where you want to be in the future. We're going to start designing that together. And then we're going to work out what the best way is right now. And you need a fact-finding process to do that, which is a structured document that a financial advisor would use. Anybody that's any good will ask you those questions in an order and have a brilliant process for it.
Awesome. I love it. Guys, please keep questions. So I think Kevin put it up, refers back to what you said earlier, mate. So everyone's a consumer, so not to be scared of a high-end package.
Ultimately, here's what we do. We decide things ahead of time as to whether they're good or bad, whether they're right or wrong. What we shouldn't do is decide anything. We should have a brilliant process. Ultimately, you've got a process and you say, look, let me find out who you are, what it is that you think that you want, and let me take you through my process and ask you some questions. If I can build enough desire in you, you will pay for it. You'll go out your way and you'll work to pay for it. You'll work your ass off to do something if I can give you enough reasons. Think 9/11, right?
Yes.
9/11, right? Yep. Somebody persuaded those guys to get into a jumbo jet and smash it into the side of a plane, into the side of a building, for one reason.
Yeah.
They could give them enough reasons. So if I said to you, Wayne, I've got a challenge to you. You got to either be able to persuade this person to be able to part with some money, right, to go through and do your program, a big amount of money, or you got to try and persuade somebody to get into a jumbo jet and smash it into the side of a building. Which would you take?
I'm going to talk something into signing up for my big program.
And it's not even that hard. You think, hold on a minute, smashing into, or you got to work out how to stick a man and a woman on the moon. You couldn't do that. But you can easily talk somebody into going through your program, but you've got to have a better process. You've got some learning to do. And if you learn from the best people that have ever walked the planet, you come up with a better process. So you start thinking, well, okay, how can I open in the right way? Well, I'm going to do a discovery with this client to find out where they are right now, where they want to be in the future, what the various ways to get there, what the best way is right now. I'm going to use the Mike Pantalon close. What have you decided now's the right time for you to do? Why might you change? And you start asking the right questions. And people, what they do is they unflower, they just undress in front of you and they fall into your lap because they think this person can clearly demonstrate they can help me in the way that I want to be helped. And you make them feel a certain way, which is what sales is all about, making people feel that you can genuinely make their life better with you as opposed to without you.
So, do you know what's funny you said, because when we spoke last Germany, and you came down to us and you showed us about how to frame, and that's what we're talking about here, is like framing that whole picture. The big wake-up call for me was we just didn't take enough history. I mean, we didn't get to understand the person that was in front. When you go into panic mode, I guess. I think there's going to be a few guys out there that probably do the same. They want the client, they know they can help them, but they go into panic mode and don't keep control of the thing, which is a question that Ollie's just asked. I'll bring that up in a minute. Yeah.
So the reason people go into panic mode is they don't understand the process in which you influence somebody. So recently, like in August, I was with the world's leading social psychologist, the guy who wrote the book on influence, a guy called Robert Cialdini, Dr. Robert Cialdini. His book sold over 3 million copies. In 1984, he wrote the book on influence. And while I was working with Dr. Cialdini, what he shared with me was what are the 3 core motives that people have when they come and they start working with you. So one of the big things that I learned was you build a relationship before business with a client. You build a relationship before business. But if you had to ask most people, how do you build a relationship with somebody? How do you do that first? And that's the first starting point. There's 2 influence principles here. It's the principle of reciprocity or the principle of liking. They're the 2 things that build relationships. For reciprocity, that's about gifts and concessions. So if somebody comes to you and they want to buy your program, you should always have you should always, if you want to go in the process of using concessions, you should always have a high price program, and then you should have a slightly less price program. And then when you offer your program, you say, look, here's what I'm offering to you. Here's my program. Here's the gold, the top program. Somebody says, I can't afford that. You say, well, I thought you would say that. So what I've done is just for you, I've created a program that's something less than that. What they'll recognize is this is a genuine concession. You've genuinely gone out of your way to look at and find this thing for me. This is a real concession and I want to work with you. Yeah. And what that does is it creates
I love it.
It creates that relationship. You're thinking this person's thought about me ahead of time. So don't just come up with just a high price program. Come out with something less. And if you make a concession to a client, if you retreat from a situation, you say, let me go away and see what I can do, and then come back, that's seen as a second request. You lose. So if you retreat from a situation to go away and find out another program, then come back, you lose. If you retreat in a situation, you win. So if you say, look, I knew you'd say this, Wayne, so that's why I've prepared this for you. It's just for you. It's less of price. I've taken out this and this and this benefit, but it will do the basics for you and it will get you started. Because you've made a genuine concession, you've thought of that person, they then want to help you. It's a little bit like a situation whereby we get into Christmas now. Somebody sends you a Christmas card, Maggie at 93, even though it's the 23rd of December and you've sent out all your cards, you feel obliged to go out and get Maggie a Christmas card because she got you one. It's the law of obligation. Somebody's given you something or they've made a genuine concession. You want to give something back. And that creates a relationship. So what we should be doing with all of our clients is we should try and build a relationship before business by either giving them a gift or a concession, alternatively using a principle of liking.
Love it. So because it's these words, not mine. If someone is being a dick and saying no, 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 how do you get control back?
So one of the things when somebody says no, once they said no to you, is they used up no. So if I said to you, no, Wayne, I can't do that, you say, well, okay, if you can't do that big package, how about we do this lesser package? You've made a genuine concession because I thought you might say no, so here's what I've got. So you get control back by making a concession.
Okay.
And the other
like you said, they're just using that. They keep saying no. They're basically kind of, I guess, they're wasting your time, aren't they?
They're not wasting your time. No. They're not. They're really not wasting your time. Don't wish they were easier. Wish you were better. What you can do is a thing called future pacing. You can walk them down their no road, and no road goes nowhere. So this is a shitsandwich.com, right? So day one, right, their life's going to be shit. In 2 months' time, their life's going to be shit. 3 months' time. So you ask them, you say, well, okay, let's say you've not worked in the gym, right, now, and it's November, right? What happens in January?
Yeah.
Nothing. What happens in February? Nothing. You've not changed your nutrition. You've not been to the gym. What happens when you want to get, you say, how old are you right now? I'm 38 years old. How good's your relationship with your partner? I've not got one. So chances are that you're going to be a fat old bloke on your own with whatever. You're not going to get the dream partner you're going to get because you don't look right, so you don't feel right, so you don't attract what you could attract. But if you could get you into that same shape where you were like when you were 25, chances are you'd feel better, you'd look better, and you could perhaps attract that partner. So you've got a window of opportunity over the next 2 years to get you into shape, get your mind into shape, so that you can get the shape that you want to get going forward. Otherwise, you can end up with an umpa-lumpa.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, if there's any questions, please ask them because this guy is a very, very busy man and he's got a heavy day tomorrow. He's got a lot of money to go and pick up.
Yeah,
in a brown bag.
Yeah.
So, if you have questions, ask them. I'd say, would you do us a favour, mate? Okay, yeah. So, Mike, this is how I'll talk about how we, since we've been speaking and stuff, this is kind of how we do our framing, mate. What I tend to do is sit down with a blank piece of paper and I do exactly what you just did. I ask leading questions to try and get a positive answer. So what I'll do is I'll make particular notes and I'll try to get the client to open up and talk about them in a, I don't like my fat thighs, I don't like this, don't like that. So what I'll do is I'll write that down. I'll write what they say down. So at the end, when it comes to that part, when it comes to that, I'll go like, well, help you, if we can get rid of the thighs, help with the belly, help with this, help with that, and we talk the frame back to them. Does that sound like something you would want? We can only get a yes answer to that.
Yeah, you can only get a yes answer to it.
Yeah, and that's like then you know, and for us, what we found is just being able to do that, just making them little notes, framing it right, investigate what there, hit them with the bit at the end. Does that sound like the thing that would be perfect for you? They say yes. We generally turn around and say, based on Tom, that's the best thing for you, and that's how we put it across. And then we wait for do you know what? We haven't had an objection yet.
You won't get objections because you're asking people to be consistent with themselves. I mean, one of the other things you can do that's really useful is a thing whereby people will always remember the experiences they've had. They can forget the training that you've talked to them about, but they'll forget they can't dispute the experiences they've had. You say, look, here's something that we do with our customers. We have a trial week, and it's just a 5-day trial week. And what we call it is 9 hours to transform your life. So what do you mean by that? Say, if you could spend 9 hours and you could change your life for the next 12 months, so you have an amazing life for the next 12 months, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? What would you give me in those 9 hours if I could change your life? So, well, I don't know. So, well, I need 1:40 from you every day, right? Because there's going to be 1:10 on the weights. There's going to be 20 minutes on the cardio, and there's going to be 10-minute abs. We're going to do that every day. And by the end of the week, with that, with the water, with your nutrition, we will transform your life. And if at the end of the week you don't like it, it costs you nothing. If it's transform your life, we'll give you everything. It will be everything. So my 9 hours that I've spent with you will be worth nothing, 9. But if those 9 hours have transformed, what you'll find is you want to engage with it. You want to change your life. So why don't we do that together? Why don't we just try that together? If it works, you pay for it. If it doesn't, it's free. How about that? That's you giving somebody something that's meaningful, it's unexpected, and it's customized to that individual. And you're saying, look, we have a plan, follow my plan, I know what I'm talking about. You get engagement.
Awesome. I love it.
Something, because and what you're saying, there's a plan here. This is real.
Yeah. And that really is it. Because I think what people forget is, like you've said many times, they came to you.
Yep.
They want, you know what I mean? You haven't gone cold calling. You're not knocking on people's doors asking them, hey, do you want to come join my gym or join my program? They come to you.
To me, this is the easy thing in the world. I mean, one of the reasons why I started working with Fit Pros is because I wanted to test my skills to see what worked with financial services, what worked with mortgage advisors, life insurance advisors, whether that carried over into the fitness industry. And I took people from closing 1 or 2 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, just by taking across from that other field into this field, you know, what's true, right, and what's so. What's easy in this field is being able to ask really good questions. So how would you like to be happier, fitter, more successful, have a better sex life, get on better at work, live longer? They're easily yes questions. Is there anything about that that's bad for you is another good thing to ask. Is there anything about that that you'd hate? You think, no way, that would be terrible for me. Do you think you can do it on your own? You know you're going to get, no, I can't do it on my own. Yes, I need it. It's going to make me happier. When you start asking those questions in bunches, what you create within that person is a belief that you're the right person to guide them to change their life.
Awesome. I love it. So we had a question from Stephen. Again, I think a lot of this kind of like repeats itself, but, you know, we'll go over it anyway because it's just questions asked in different ways. So how do you get a potential client to give you more information so you can use what they say to help sell the program to them?
Really good question, Stephen. So how do you get a client to give you more information so that they give you all that you want and they believe you can help them? Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, okay. So the first thing is you got to have a process. You have to have a process. And the starting point of that process is a fact-finding document. Ultimately, if you sat down with a pen and a piece of paper and you've got to try and pluck it out of your ass or out of your head how you're feeling in that moment, you're going to be shit. Because there'll be good days and there'll be bad days. But if you've got a great process whereby you can start asking the client who you are, when you were born, and you ask questions in a structured fashion, in a structured order, and you've got a fact-finding document. One of the things I'll do is I'll send you a fact-finding document, Wayne, and you can share it with the guys in the group. And that will give you process. And it's a little bit like the London Underground. The London Underground doesn't run as the London Underground. It's got a track to run on. You still need drivers. You still need to fuel the thing. It's still got to work. But they've got a track to run on. Your fact-finding document is your track to run on. So I'll give you a fact-finding document that you can use. It's a generic fact-finding document that will work for people that do body transformations, but it'll work really well for you. I'll send you that tomorrow and you can upload it to the group.
Love it. So, I mean, that's going to be worth, you know, a lot of guys in here who do struggle. Yeah, absolutely, mate. So, James asked, is it worth using those questions as a pre-screening questionnaire on a landing page once they've clicked from your advert?
You can do.
So would you use them on a landing page, or would you?
Ultimately, what you want to do is wish you were better. Imagine every single person you were speaking to was going to be worth 10 grand to you. How many of them would you want going through and getting disqualified by some piece of literature? And how many would you want to talk to?
Yeah.
You want to talk to all of them. You think, fuck, I need them all. All of these are mine. They're all gold. So you want the minimalist qualifying criteria. And then ultimately, it's about engagement. This whole process is about engagement. So when you're on top form, you engage, you empower, and you compel people to take action. So they start here and they move forward with you. You get a sense, they move up. They move up that mountain because they believe that you're the person to guide them on the path to take them where they want to go. So this is an engagement process. And the minimal you can get on a form, so you can get a sense, the better. You want some stuff on the form that shows social proof. The term social proof means, here's how I've helped other people like you. Here's how other people that have gone through this process have thought, what they've felt, how they've acted. In the same way that if you walked up to let's say you go to a strange holiday resort and you don't know, I'm going to go on a holiday, I'm going to go to Jamaica, I don't know where to go. Where do most people go if they're going to go to Jamaica and they want to book a hotel? What do they look first?
Nice beach.
Yeah, but they want a nice beach, but they're probably going to go and look on a site like TripAdvisor or something like that to say, is this worth booking or is it a crock of shit, right?
Yeah.
Because TripAdvisor will tell you, they're going to tell you how other people think, feel, and act. So they're going to do that. If you go to, let's say you go to London, you go to Chinatown, do you go in the busy restaurant or the quiet restaurant?
The busy one.
Yeah, why? Because that's how other people are, right? That's where everybody else has gone. So fish go in a school, animals go in a herd, and human beings, we're no different. Even insects that have got no living function, they still school together. So we like to go where the crowd is. So if you can show people your testimonials, your evidence of how, all the other people you've helped, you then remove uncertainty. They then think, well, this person, clearly you've helped them, you can help me. I need to move with you because you're the right person. You need to demonstrate that via social proof. And that's about evidence of how other people feel, think, and act about you and your service. So collect them.
So for us, what we tend to do is we do interviews. We'll interview clients, really relax and ask them questions. Again, not because we're trying to force an answer, but we find them camera in front of people. They tend to get scared, so we find we interview them. We can ask them the questions, and they can give their own. Them kind of videos go down really well when we share them on social and stuff like that because it's very natural.
They adore it. So you start by starting that you know that. So you know that you need social proof. So the next client you work with, say, here's what the deal is. When you're fact finding, you ask him the question. You say, when we've changed your life and you now look like a stick insect that you want to look like, and you've attracted the ideal partner, here's what I'm going to need from you. I'm going to need a testimonial. Because that's presupposing, A, they're going to work with you, B, you're going to transform their life, and C, they're going to tell you how happy they are with it. They think, God, this is a cocky fucker. They really know what they're talking about. They're definitely going to be able to help me, and I'm going to have to do this thing. And they're looking at the future. And when the focus is on the future, life's better. When the focus is looking backwards, life's worse.
And that kind of leads us into this question, which is a common question. And again, I think what you talked about earlier about your framing and stuff like that. So, Alec said, how do you overcome objections like I can't afford it or I need to speak to my wife? It's a very, very common. So it's a question we don't get.
Ultimately, you will get that question forever, right? If you're shit. Yeah. If you're shit, you'll get that forever. And the reason you'll get it is because what you should do is you get rid of that. You kill what I call kill the monster while it's a baby. So what you do in the first instance is something, I can't afford it. I want it. I need to speak to my wife. you ask them straight early on. You say, okay, this is what you want to achieve. And you start describing what they want to achieve. You ask them why it's going to be important to them. You work out how to break it down to the ridiculous. What do they earn? What do they feel? You're not going to pitch them something if you know that they won't be able to get the ball in the back of the net. So if somebody's earning 10 grand a year, you're not going to start asking them for a 5 grand sign up. That's unrealistic. You know, most of these people are going to be able to earn, you know, it's going to be hundreds, not thousands. So you start asking hundreds to the hundreds of people and thousands to the thousands of people. If you start asking somebody that's earning 100 grand a year for, you know, 50 quid a month, that's not enough money. They won't value it. So you need to talk to people about in terms of value. There's a value that if it's this much, it must be good. We have this shortcut inside of us. Expensive equals good. It comes back to, though, the fact-finding process and asking the question. So I'll give you that document, and that will help you how to ask the questions to the right people in the right order.
I love it. Is there are there any other questions, guys? Because I'm not going to keep David too long because he's got a long day. All right. We'll give it a couple of seconds. But is there anything you want to finish with, David? Anything?
I mean, I've got a course on this, guys. If you guys want to know any more about it, you can. My email's David at Thomson, THOMSON.com. I've got a course on this stuff. I can share it with you. It's really good. It's 12 weeks. It will transform your sales, transform your life. It's pennies in terms of its cost, so it's not an expensive course. So if you really want to be great, the one thing to be great at in business is sales. You can get away with murder if you're great at sales. If you can close 8 out of 10 of anything, that will change your life. If you can only close 2 out, it won't. From my perspective, the reason I put it together is I've worked with fitness professionals. I've worked with them for a long time over the last couple of years. I've transformed loads of their life. I've got testimonials coming out my arse. I'm doing this because I want to, because I think you guys are doing an incredible job. And also I see that there's a need for people to be better in terms of persuading somebody to do that transformation. So if you want to learn how to be really good at it, do my course because it's amazing and it will change your life. And if it doesn't, it's free. You can have your money back.
And guys, David's absolutely right. There's so much information. There is so much more to it. It will make a massive difference. I couldn't believe just spending a few hours with David and him speaking to myself and the team, how the amount of light bulbs that went off that we were like thinking, well, that's just so simple. And I think really, because what happens is, I think as a personal trainer, one day you're at college, you get a qualification, you now set up a business, and now you go looking for clients, and you're a great trainer, you now get people in shape, you know nothing about business and nothing about sales, and nobody teaches you that stuff. So now sales becomes awkward, you feel, I've always said to people, if you struggle with sales because you think you're forcing something to buy, then you're probably not that confident in what you deliver. And then that way you probably should learn your craft more, because then you wouldn't have a problem selling if you know you can really help people change their lives.
Yeah, and so the good thing about sales, it's the easiest, good thing to learn, because you can go out, you can practice it, and you get paid the next day. So if you can go and implement sales into your business sales isn't sales in real terms. It's pitching, it's framing, it's negotiating, it's fact finding, it's finding out somebody's personality type. It's being able to use Dr. Cialdini's influence and use reciprocity and liking to build relationships. Use social proof and authority to demonstrate you know what you're talking about. Use scarcity, not false scarcity, real scarcity, to promote people to take action. When you do that in the right way, people just fall into your lap. And what you'll find is everybody starts to say yes to you. And who out there doesn't want to be happier? Who doesn't want to be richer? Who doesn't want to be more successful? Who doesn't want to be healthier? Who doesn't want to eat better? But people want your knowledge, but you have to have the skills to be able to ask the questions in the right order and get them to tell you. And so when you've got a client in front of you that's resisting you, don't wish they were easier, wish you were better, because when you're better, everybody falls into line.
Awesome. So look, mate, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read out some of the thank yous that you've had, mate. Love this. Thank you for all the info, David. Mate, that was awesome. Was blown away back in, when we had a thing in Birmingham last year. It just keeps getting better. Thank you for your pearls tonight, and that's from Kerry. Thank you for organising it, Wayne. And great info. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your knowledge with us, David. And mate, you never ever fail to amaze me, mate. I really appreciate you taking time out. And you guys that are watching, I think I might have secured Dave to speak at my BBS event next February at some point. I've just got to pin dates down and make sure it works for both of us. But he probably is one of the most generous guys with his time for what he does. So you guys should be absolutely stoked to see this. If you've missed it, you missed it.
Hey mate, since the last time we met, I've been off working with Dr. Robert Cialdini. He's the world leading social psychologist. I was one of 2 people in the world selected this year to teach influence. All I want to do is share the message and help people transform their lives and become better. Sales has been so good to me, so kind to me, that if I can help people genuinely move the needle, start getting everybody to say yes to them, and you start changing people's lives and making them happy and healthy and more successful, then the world's a better place. The reason I love to help you, Wayne, is because I know the job that you did before, being that critical care nurse and being that kind of personality that genuinely gives a shit about people, and also being authentic, and you're the real deal. So, I'll always come on. Of course, I'll come to your event in February. Just give me some dates. As long as I'm in the country, I will be there 100%. And I'll help you. I'll support you and your group forever. Not a problem, my friend. We are brothers, mate. And this is part of what we do.
You're an absolute legend. So a few more comments, mate, and then I'm going to let you get on. So such an infectious personality and attitude. That was from Gareth. Awesome. You make it sound so simple. You just got to, Aaron, you just got to keep practicing, mate, and if you know your product, it becomes easier. And Annie put, learn something new every time. Legend. Thanks, Dave. And you know what, mate? I'm going to close it on that. You are a diamond. I appreciate it massively. I'm when I hit end broadcast, I'll give you a quick call back. All right?
Yeah, not a problem, brother. Brilliant, fantastic. Yeah, perfect. I'm glad to be able to help you and and your team very much. So, guys, if you want me, reach out. Let's hook up and let's have some fun with it.
Awesome. You're a legend. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.